All right, folks. Hey, welcome to another session of Off the Grid podcast. I wanted to welcome my brother from another mother, California MC, fellow Virgo, Shamon Cassette. What's
Yeah,
going on?
what's going on?
Hey, man, this is a super special session for me, man, because I get to speak to somebody I grew up with. And I've told you many times that you were very influential in my musical journey, and you certainly have some responsibility in what I've been doing today, man, music wise. So
I
thank you.
appreciate that, bro. No, I appreciate you, like, seriously.
It's been wild, man. And so, hey, man, first, for the folks, man, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us where you're exactly from, and then how long you've been making music.
Yeah, so pretty much like just as you know as yourself, most of my childhood and all of that was in Kanagawa in Japan. So most of my childhood memories and reflections and everything based me there. So yeah, like starting in Japan, just getting into music there. Like previously before that, I had spent a little bit of time in Atlanta
Yep.
and yeah, I absorbed a little bit of the music there and then going from there to Tokyo, really, really small. I had like this sense of like really being rooted in this southern thing, and
Yep.
then getting to Japan was like this high impact exposure of like the focus being the East Coast, right?
Uh, yep.
Yeah, it's like everyone loved like the East Coast flavor, unless it was like a bit of the West Coast stuff that the sailors or the troops or whatever was bringing over the West Coast vibes, mixing it in.
Yep.
So for me, it was like Southern, East Coast, West Coast, just all in this pot, just like looking for, you know.
Yeah, it's wild, man. And I was trying to remember too as I was putting this together that I was like, where is he from? And Atlanta was the place, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I know he spent some time in New York too, but I couldn't remember. So that was
Yeah,
yeah.
cause like New York is like where my mom's from, and like I'd be there like a whole lot, and it's like
Okay.
with her in the military as well, like her being a military single parent mom or whatever, so she'd have to go on these little missions. So sometimes we'd end up staying with family back in Atlanta, or we'd be back with family in New York. So those
Got
are
it.
the main zones.
Yeah. Hey, were you rapping before you got to Japan? I'm gonna assume yes because you were already
Man,
good when we were high school kids, dude.
dude, I've been like, no shit. I've been rapping since I was like 5.
I believe it, man. I
Yeah.
believe it,
Cause I was
dude.
like, that's why I was like so mesmerized by you and y'all's crew, because y'all were breaking and like b-boys, and like me, I was like a bit traumatized fresh off it. Cause when I was younger, before I even thought about ramen, I was like a b-boy too.
Oh, I
And then
believe it,
like,
man.
yeah, so like I had an incident when I was a kid, and it just like freaked me out like
Uh huh.
forever for that. So I was like, damn, I'm gonna just have to pick up another element. So I was like, I'm gonna just
Yeah.
start rhyming.
Uh
Yeah.
huh. Yeah, I wasn't that good, so.
Bro, you crazy. You were that good.
No, definitely not, man. So I had to find something else too, man. And so it was crazy, man. So okay, so you got Atlanta, and so it was a good time when we were growing up. Like Outkast just hit the scene.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Woo!
All of that.
And I felt that, man. And I got that vibe when we were growing up. I was like, geez, man. But like, who exactly were you really listening to? Was it Outkast? Anybody specific that like that got you just
So
mind blown?
for me, it was Outcast, and
Yep.
then like when they opened up the portal with all the Dungeon family, I was really into Witch Doctor.
Oh
And
man.
I was like,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So like those were like my main things. And then aside from that, I had realized that the Boogie Monsters
Oh yes.
had this military brat background, so to speak.
Oh, I had no
Yes.
clue, man.
Yeah, so they family, they mostly were in like Alaska and Virginia, like Fort Polk and all that. So
Oh, dude, that's crazy.
yeah, and the Boogie Monsters, they popped off because they both were going to school in Virginia. They were going to the college, so they entered a few like rap contests or whatever, and that's when they got signed.
That's crazy.
So yeah, so they were highly inspirational for me just to see like what you could do as like a person that's from that background.
Yeah. Oh man, that's crazy, man. Yeah, so and it was apparent to me, when I got into your music in the beginning, and so you already were in the thick of hip hop culture when we were growing up, and I was still trying to learn. Like just being in Japan, we were still playing catch up. But from your perspective, into somebody who was already thick into hip hop culture, and then I know you spend a lot of time in the Japanese hip hop scene, and I didn't do that until later on. But how was it, man? Was it awesome? And was it just a wild mix of all different countries in terms of hip hop? What would you think?
Man, it was honestly, it was a wild, awesome adventure.
Yeah.
Because as you know, I would like leave base like solo and just like go and explore.
Yeah.
So it's like I wasn't even really speaking the language or nothing like that. And
Yeah.
like
That's
I
right.
would just go. Right. I would just jump out and just like go somewhere, like go Friday after school and then like come back up like Sunday or something, because I just like been going around exploring, meeting people, and just kind of like just going all up in the record shops and like going in the streetwear shops and all that they
Yeah.
had. And, like, cause you remember back then they'd always have a DJ in the shop every
That's
time,
right.
like playing vinyl every time. So
Yep.
I go up in there and like be meeting fools that was like DMC DJs, all that. So like
Yeah.
for me, it was like a video game because I was just going and just like figuring out shit, linking it
Yeah.
up, and then yeah,
Yeah, I remember you watching you at a young age, man. You were either like you said, man, you were going to the shops, and then there was like pictures of you rapping in front of the shops,
yeah,
and then and shows, man. And then I was like, man, he's starting to like rap at every club that we were going to, which is freaking
right,
awesome, man.
yeah, bro. That was crazy to be like at school going like, what are y'all doing this weekend? Like,
Yeah,
hey man, y'all want to sneak out and come
yeah,
to my show?
yeah. And you weren't even of age to get in the clubs, which is
No,
funny,
I wasn't
dude.
even of age, bro. And like all the soldiers and like everyone would be like mad jealous and shit because I would be in there like winning rap contests and wasn't even supposed to be in the joint.
Yeah, that's right, man. And I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, man, but I remember, I think one of the high school summers, you might have done some touring too with a little
I
bit.
did. I got to
Yeah,
go off on a little tour with the Def Squad with Redman and
I
Keith
thought
Murray
so.
and
Yeah, yeah.
Eric
Oh,
Sherman and the Twins. Yeah,
freaking awesome. Did you say the twins too?
the Twins. Yeah, the Twins were there
Oh
too.
man, yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
that
that
was
must be fun.
crazy. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was the hot iron for them. They was like on fire at that time too. Like
yeah. How long was that? Was that just like a week's time, or did
it
you
was like a
actually?
week. Yeah, it was a week's time because it was just all the little spots on the island.
Okay. Oh, that must have been super cool, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was so cool.
yeah. And so and it was that was you solo, but hey, for the folks that don't know, and I've had the fortune of growing up with Shaman in Japan. We spent a bunch of our formative years there. We played football together for a long time, and
Yeah.
obviously we hung out a lot in Tokyo growing up. He was part of the rap scene, and we were out there just hanging out. But my question too is that how was the assembling of the Ill Assailants crew, man? So was
That
that
honestly,
how
that
that happened?
honestly was like I would say that was like some Peter Pan shit, to be honest. It was like a bunch of just like reject kids that was just like morsels that came together and just was like, oh shit, you can do this, you can do that. All
Yeah.
right, let's like do this shit and just go like stick it to them. So like that's what it was. It was like the
Yeah.
other bases got crews, these homies at these schools, they
Yep.
got crews. We ain't got no crew. All right, let's do it. So we just
Yep.
like formulated the ill assailants, and they also were like as you know, they were out there too. They would be like way gone, like all the time.
Bro.
That's why I didn't even know them
Uh-huh.
until after a certain point, because even though we went to school and all together, like
Yeah.
they
You
was
were
just so.
younger than both of them.
I was way younger than both of them,
Yep.
but they was all out in the mix, so they kind of showed me the ropes of like how to do it. To be honest,
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Slick, Polecat, and my man
yeah.
Tiger, man. Yeah.
Yeah, they were honestly they were highly influential to what I do and like the way I do things and just the
Okay.
perspective. Because you know, Mr. Slick always had that theatrical performance aspect. He always had a presentation, and
Yep.
like I never really understood how important that was, and just like he did it effortlessly. So like it took me a while to realize what he was doing with that, and then with Polecat it was just like he was so acrobatic with the lyricism and just kind of so punk with it. He just showed me like you can just like do whatever you want to do to a beat. Like you don't have to do like you could whisper to that shit if you want, like whatever. He was just like
Yeah.
doing whatever the hell he wanted and just like killing it. I was just like, yo,
Yo, we had a pretty amazing scene, man, in terms of like all the high schools, and obviously we
we
had you
did
guys
it.
representing Zama hard, man. You guys were
Yeah,
the squad, man.
yeah.
Yeah, and so Yokosuka, they had their crew, and Yokota had FIP, and I can't remember the name of the other crew, but the individuals too,
The
right?
individuals, yeah, because you know
Yeah.
what's funny? I
Uh-huh.
don't know if you remember how the story went, but in the end, I think some fools got deported or like some other stuff happened, and
Uh-huh.
then everything just kind of cleared out for a minute, and then it was
Yeah.
another just like moment of clusters, and then like I wound up started seeing this girl that lived in Yokota, so I'll be in Yokota all the time. So what I wound up doing, I wound up getting down with the individuals. So I was
That's right.
part of another fraction of the individuals. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool, man. And when I interviewed the L months ago, and I heard that song that you guys had together. He calls it the submarine song, but I was like,
Oh yeah.
whew, man, that was a banger of a track, man.
Yeah. L was so influential, bro. He like showed how to do it in the studio. Like,
Yeah, you guys made some dope music, and that's right. I forgot all the groups collapsed because fools were either graduating or getting deported.
right. Like at a rapid speed. It was hilarious. I was like, yo, Rain, it looks like it's just me and you, bro.
Hey, but yeah, I'm a Zava kid at heart, and you guys will always be number one, man, in terms of that scene, man.
I appreciate you, bro. That was
Yeah,
some fun times with that, like building and being a part of that.
yeah, I got to watch you guys like perform a lot, and then I'm gonna bring this up because I wish I still had a copy of my tape. But what really hit me, as I was like kind of like learning about like emceeing and what it was like, was when you guys started in '95. You started slanging the squeeze tape, right?
Oh, the squeeze tape.
I'm
Woo!
so mad I don't have mine anymore, man. Dang, man.
Man, you know what's funny?
Uh,
I have that readily accessible all the time. I'm gonna make you a copy of that.
oh, please, man.
Actually, that's
Please.
funny. That's crazy. I don't know how I was so fortunate enough to like still have that because like I
Yeah.
think my whole life I have this tape pack of demos and like just loads of shit. And
Yep.
like for some reason I never let that get out of like 50 feet. Like in a
Yeah.
home situation, I'm like I always know where this shit is at. And
Yeah.
like the squeeze tape is in there.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always like we have a mutual friend Marvin who still has his copy. And
Bro,
I've
Marvin
been
is the
trying to
champ.
take that from him, man.
Right. I bet he'd be like, I got the squeeze tape.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, let me get it.
Yo,
It's like, man, no, he's got it, and he got it signed by you in high school and
right.
everything, man.
Yeah. Bro, fools gotta understand that squeeze tape. We was definitely slinging them tapes in school.
Oh, dude, but dude, if that thing was up online, man, that thing would easily go for a couple $100, man.
Oh God,
Yeah. So yeah, dude. Ah, man, yeah. I'd love a copy. Not as
I
good as
got
the
you. Don't trip.
original.
Cause I gotta send you your copy of this.
That's
So don't
right,
even
man.
trip. I'll
I am
drop that
pumped.
squeeze in there.
Woo. Yeah, I'd love it, man. But at some point, I'm gonna go to Marvin's house and try to gink that thing, man.
Right, man. I want to go to Marvin's house, bro. What is
Yeah, we need
Marvin
to get
still?
together.
Man,
Yeah.
we do.
Ah, dude. So are you in Los Angeles proper, or where
Yeah,
exactly are you at?
properly. I'm in Boyle Heights.
Okay. All right. Awesome, man. Well, hey, with that, man. Yeah, what a fantastic place to grow up in terms of hip hop. And so I've seen you. So actually, like as I was thinking about this interview, I mean, if I had anybody that I knew or followed who was just against the grain and different and original and just super creative, man. I think that was you, man. Like Outcast, I always
Appreciate it, man.
hold in high regard for
Yeah,
just trendsetting, and I see you as the same way, man.
I
So
appreciate that, man.
yeah, I mean, just your fashion, man. How are you developing that? Like, I mean, what? I mean, there's a lot of thought into it, right? And
Okay, so nah, honestly, there's no thought. There's
yeah,
no thought.
naturally, huh?
Yeah, cause you know what it is. I'm a archiver. So
Yeah,
like a lot of I'm really into like periodic collections and stuff from different
yeah,
time periods, and I already have that like in an archive.
yeah,
So for me, really, it's just pulling from that. So
yeah.
after a while of just collecting like your whole life and archiving stuff, you just have access to just stuff that's not really minimal.
Yeah, and I remember too like after high school, and then from when we reconnected, I know you spent some time, and I think I remember you telling me, did you have like a fashion industry internship of some sort, or
Yeah,
uh,
so what happened was, so I guess I'll just add this quick bit in.
yeah,
It's probably off the path, but at one point I think after Virtual Vertigo kind of dissolved, I needed to go some different directions in music because this was gonna have me going into a solo career as an adult for the first time.
yeah,
So I took a pause because it was just like wrecking my head. I put out some singles and stuff. I guess they were like, what what were these, drum and bass, kind of before like people were even on that because they didn't even have a name. We wasn't going like, all right, let's make some drum and bass. I was working with this homie in Berlin, so we did this, and he
crazy.
got signed to Ultra. So I got signed to Ultra, and at that
Whoa,
time, yeah, and at that time I was back in New York, and it was just like convenient because it was local. So I was doing my business at Ultra Records, just going down in the city, and
nice.
I realized that the fashion school was just around the corner. So I went and inquired about taking some courses. So I just wound up enrolling full time and just doing a lot of publishing stuff over at Ultra, and just doing a bit of tours with a couple other acts that they had.
Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah, that's amazing, man. And I think yeah, you just had the foundation for it, and then just man, yeah, I just love the way that you present yourself, and I'm a fan of your style, man. And man, one of one, man. So I've always
appreciate
admired
it.
that in terms of just watching your musical journey. So super
Appreciate
cool,
that. A
man.
lot of it came from being in Japan as well, just growing
I
up
could see
there.
that too.
You just like never let go of this thing that's in you, and like I didn't even realize what it was developing and cultivating until like you go through and figure out the development of your personal style. And
Yeah,
then even though some things you might have pushed back, now it's kind of like, oh yeah, that was a massive symbolization of
yeah,
me, so I need to adorn this part of me because like that's part of the journey.
yeah, for sure, man. And you've since I've known you, you've toured all over the United States. You've been all over the world touring. And I think that's probably got to help too, man. Just seeing all the different styles, and
That's what it
it's so
is. It's
amazing.
like never ending because you never go somewhere where you're not like
Yeah,
finding inspiration, especially like
that's right.
traveling. I think that's the highest source of inspiration for me is just being on the road. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
constant.
Oh, I bet, man. And so I like even to this day, man. I mean, hey, man, we're grown up now, and still like I still, you know, like just remember us as Tiger and Mellow, and then that's how I still,
Right.
yeah, I feel that I still that's how I feel the relationship is. But man, what? And I've seen you, through the years where your MC name has changed. And so,
Yeah.
how did you finally settle on Shamon Cassette, man? Can you tell me the origin of that and what it means?
Well, basically, so like there was this period of time where like I was really deeply into studying occultism because I
Okay.
was like fresh off like studying for a minute, practicing Islam, and then I was just
Yep.
like, okay, I never was just like fully in with anything, so I just was in a mode of exploring. And like even with that, it was like a lot of self-reflection. It's that point in your life where you go like, who am I really? And like you just searching and exploring. So through the exploration of all of that, I realized that I wasn't the person that the name was given to. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the birth name. So I was like, I am more of this person, and this came to me, and what it was like, occultism was like really, really high on the chart for like
Mm,
my interest levels because it had a lot to do with like nature and like animals and like
yeah.
all that kind of thing. And I didn't realize that could be considered like a religious kind of thing. So I was like, oh yeah, that's highly me. So through all of that, it basically was like, okay, shamans have a lot of things to do with like this whole spectrum. So
Yeah.
basically coming with the connection that like they're basically shamans are basically people of influence and just access in general to like the world of good and evil.
Yeah.
And it's just like that in itself, it just encompasses like what I am and what my mission is. And it's just like just those very few words can just like say so much about myself being. So like it was that, and then my fixation with analog and cassettes is
Yep.
how the end part came, and then that was also like my breaking away from like what I was given as far as like names and yeah, things like that. So I was like, yeah, so that's not me,
Yeah.
and that was given to me, but like I felt like what I felt was that, and that's who I am, and that's who I will be, and
I
that's how
love.
it went. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great, man. I mean, you've always been clever with the names, but I really like this, and it's stuck for a long time. And so I had to ask you. It's like my favorite question to ask people, man, is how they
Yeah.
start a name and form their
Yeah.
identity.
That's always a good one. Not that many
Yeah,
people ask. That's, I mean, because I feel like it's pretty general, but I guess there is a bit more into it, you know?
yeah, 100%, man. And so with that, man, I wanted to take some time to just go into some of your albums. Again, I've always been a fan of your work, and I got underground CDs that you put out too. And, except for the squeeze tape, Marvin.
Oh man, you're gonna have that squeeze tape. Damn.
Hey, so I wanted to go into some of your work, man. So first, the album I wanted to talk to you about was the NSTBK album from 2013, man.
Ah, yeah,
But I love all your stuff, man. Like, oh
yeah,
man, there isn't like an album that I don't like. They're all dope to me. And so, what was
appreciate
the
it.
experience like putting that album together, man? What was in your mind at the time?
So funny enough, it's never really been on the record like how that whole scenario went down for that record. So
Oh,
basically what happened was we were at the end of a virtual vertigo tour, and I was obviously like mad young and mad wild. So and I'd end the tour with no more dates and be like, all right, I'ma just like post up here for a minute. So like I posted up in Berlin after we finished the tour and like was just working with some producers and stuff there. And one of the producers I wound up working with was like the super. So he like had these apartments, these flats, and he basically just had his gear in it. So he was like, "Yeah, man, don't trip. You can just stay here and you could like fuck around with the gear, the records, whatever. It's all good. And then so I basically stayed there like the whole summer, and then in the end, somehow just as I was like about to go back to New York, there was like a mad traffic, no air traffic flight control like strike.
Uh-huh.
So I couldn't leave. So
Oh
so
shit.
so check out how it went down. So like the first day that I had to leave, it was like I had a few homies that I was meant to see that I didn't get to see. So funny enough, I go to the airport to try to fly out, couldn't fly out. I already put the keys in the stash spot that I couldn't get back to. So like I had to go back, Spider-Man up the walls, go break inside the flat, and then I'm just like, yo, I can't go back because there's no flights. So
Yep.
like I get back, and then I just start dialing up the homies going, yo, I'm back. I mean, I never left because the flights. And basically they was like, all right, I'm gonna come through. I'm gonna come through. So homies just started coming through, and we just lit it back up and was just like, yo, let's just record stuff. So the second day I left to go to the airport again. Same process. Didn't get a flight. Spider-Man up the wall.
Uh-huh.
Studio back on. So back in the spot. More people came through working on some more stuff. And so yeah. The third day I didn't even try.
Oh.
So we just
Yeah,
like
you're like, fuck it, dude.
didn't
I'm done.
even try. Fuck it on that day. And then we just wound up recording this whole body of work, and it was called NSTBK because that stood for No Sleep Till Brooklyn.
Oh,
Because it was
okay.
just like no
Oh man.
sleep for the whole week, just banging out this project. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we recorded that shit on GarageBand because we had
Whoa.
already taken the
Yeah.
sound card back because I was leaving already. So we gave the sound card back to the other homie that let us use it. So
Yeah.
we were just running it through GarageBand. So that whole thing was like tracked in GarageBand.
That is crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that album. My favorite songs were Crossroads and The Hump.
Yeah.
And
Did
what
you
was
get that
really
on tape?
no, it's on Spotify, man. I
Okay.
wish.
Yeah, the fucking where is the tape?
Oh, it made it on cassette.
Oh God, I can find it for you. I got it up here somewhere on cassette.
Oh man, super cool. Hey,
Let's see. I
did
think
you do
it's
the art for it or no?
no. There's this crew called 44 Flavors
Okay.
from Berlin that did it.
Yeah, I love the
Oh,
art piece of you, man.
appreciate that, bro. Yeah,
Yes.
I have that definitely on tape, but for some reason it's not here. It's probably in the other tape stash.
Ah, man, that was a great one. And to me, why I decided to surface that in the interview was where I saw like you starting to form who you are in the sense that there were a couple of high energy dance rap tracks.
On NSTBK?
Yeah, and I was like,
Yeah.
dude, he's doing something different, man. You know what I
You,
mean? Like,
yeah, you know
it was
why?
different. Uh huh.
You know why? The reason for that was because that was literally the moment when Virtual Vertigo was dissolving, because literally
Yeah,
that tour just ended it because we were touring so much. We were even all living together, and
yeah.
like it just got so hectic that like a real big ass bloody fight broke out like in
Gee,
Austria, and like
damn.
yeah, in Austria, and that was it. Fools was like, hell no, I'm going home tomorrow. The tour manager quit on the spot. Like everybody just quit, and I was like, fuck. So yeah, like literally, no lie. So like I went back to Berlin because that shit was close to Austria, and from then I was like, damn, I'm going solo. Fuck this. So like so I like that was the moment when I was like, man, I've been wanting to do this kind of shit on Virtual Vertigo tracks, but they wasn't with it. Fuck that. I'm gonna do
Yeah,
it
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's what that was. Like that record was a bit of an act of rebellion in a sense because I was like, yo, man, I like this kind of shit. I'm gonna do that. And then it just so happened to be I had access to those friends that
Yep.
could add those elements to it, like all those
Yeah.
singy hooks and stuff. Those were all friends that were coming through as well. So all of that was done face to face. So I don't think it would have been that easy to do that because it's just a bit more complicated trying to like produce and like work out arrangements for stuff. But when you write on the spot, it's like, whoa, the magic and the essence is just captured then.
Yeah, I thought so. And so same thing too. I was just I had never thought of changing the way that I saw hip hop, man. And so when I saw you doing that rapping over the high energy dance tracks, I was like,
Yeah.
freaking unbelievable. My mind was blown,
Good
dude. I was
looks.
like, oh, you can do hip hop like that too, man.
Yeah, you know what that led to? That led to me getting signed to Ultra.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So that
Yeah.
was, oh man, I could
Yeah,
see that
so
though. It was
yeah, so
different.
that led to that because what happened with that was I got reached out by this crew called Designer Drugs because I had
Damn, I
Gaslamp
like that
Killer.
name.
Yeah, Gaslamp Killer put me on a fabric mix. And then when he put me on that fabric mix, it exposed me to like all the more dancey electric heads.
Ah,
So when they got onto that, a whole lot of producers and stuff started hitting me up. And then these cats that was already signed to Ultra, I started working with them and I wound up
gotcha.
being all over their record for Ultra, and then Ultra wanted to sign me, and then I wound up signing with Ultra. So it definitely
Oh
stemmed
man.
from me just like getting outside the box and like doing that shit.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's amazing how you did that, man. And I had no idea. And I think within the last couple years too, do you have like a band that you perform with that does that kind of music back overseas? Or
I
yep,
do. It's called Bon Voyage, and
that's it.
we
Yeah,
actually yeah we actually just finished a tour with the Prodigy a couple months ago. So
yeah.
and those
Was
were
that
like our, the
Ireland?
what?
No.
Yeah, it was Ireland. It was like a few dates in the UK and then like a
Okay.
whole long stretch in Ireland.
That is crazy, man. I just yeah, just one day I'll see you in LA and then I'm like, dude, he's overseas again performing, dude. I love it,
Yeah,
man.
man, I can't even like, yeah, especially like the summer was wild for that. Like I'll be like at home and then next thing you know, like damn, I gotta go to Ireland next week. And then
Yeah,
like
yeah.
be there, just like hell yeah, I'm excited. I'm going home, get back in the studio, catch up on these projects, and then before you know it, they're like, oh yeah, we got an offer. We gotta go here. It's like, oh shit, can't even get grounded. But
Yeah.
like I love it. And
Yeah.
that's what it was. Like it was great. It was a
Yeah.
really good summer.
Are your Bon Voyage members, are they from Ireland
They
too?
are 100% from Ireland. Yeah.
Okay.
They
Yeah, that's
haven't even
dope, man.
been like, yeah, we haven't even done any Bon Voyage stuff in the US at all.
That would be amazing, man, if you guys
Yeah,
get to do
so,
that. Woo,
but
man.
that's in the works. Yeah.
Oh, oh, I'm sure, man. I know you got a lot of stuff always cooking, man. And
Oh,
hey, so
yeah.
with that, that's why I chose to bring that album up. I thought it just really showcased your versatility as an MC. And
Appreciate observing that.
again, you said, man, out of the box, love it, man. Another album I wanted to bring up was the one that you released a couple years ago called Blades of Steel, which I'm going to
Yeah.
mention why I find that an important album in your career. But had some awesome tracks. Opening track had Thurston Howell, and then Skate track, and
Yeah.
uh, a lot of awesome features on that. But hey, do you want to talk to me about the creation of that album, the theme of the album? What was going through your mind when you put that project together?
To be honest with you, I was out of my mind when I put that project together. Did you realize how many people are on that record?
Yeah, amazing, man.
Right. So like I clearly was out of my mind because it was a hella knockdown. Like there was a lot of things. There was like a lot of rises, but there was a lot of knockdown challenges. And I put myself in these positions because I never had before. And
Yeah.
prior to this album, I didn't do any collaborations. Like I did no collaborations.
Oh, it's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, so like people would always ask me like, "Yeah, why you don't collaborate?" It's just because like in my mind, it's like world building. It's not about like, oh, work with this person because you're gonna get to tap into their fan base or work with this person because you're gonna get to climb a ladder. And for me, it's not about that. It's about
Yep.
like whatever element can further tell the story or like beautify things. You know what I'm
To make the
saying?
song
So
better. Yeah.
yeah, so that's what it was. Like it was real fun because that project started in that year. So like within that year, it was about like I also learned how that's when I really got back into engineering and recording
Okay.
myself. Yeah, so that's another experiment during that process was like not only reaching out and overcoming like things of like reaching out to collaborate with people, like the
Yep.
rejection to it all. So and then the excitement of the people that were down, which was like a whole fuckload. So yeah, that process was pretty damn wicked.
Yeah. I forgot too, and I was gonna ask you that too. Is like who mixes and masters your stuff? And I know you engineer a little bit. You still mix and master your stuff?
So the thing is, like, I mix my stuff, and when it comes to mastering, if I'm working with Jazz, which is most of the time, Jazz
Yep.
would do the master,
Okay.
and or Jazz would do the mix after me, and then from there we have this guy that does the mastering.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's another nice guy, man. I haven't met him personally, but I've been following his journey too. He's from LA.
Who's that?
Jazz Infinite.
No, no, Jazz is another like he's got Japanese roots as well, and like
Oh, different guy. Okay.
yeah, he's
Oh
also
shoot.
got some military background as well with the family and
Crazy.
we just how me and Jazz got together was like me and his younger sister like used to rave together
Okay.
and she'd always be like, yo, you got to meet my big brother, y'all would be dope if y'all worked together. And
Ah.
this
Okay.
was a long ass time ago. And I was like, nah, man, that dude is popping. I ain't even gonna say shit to that dude. Like,
Yeah.
he was already popping. He was working with like, he was doing shit with like Knots and like some of the dudes from Leaders of the New School and like
Jeez.
he had this other crew that was killing shit, and I was like, nah, bro, this dude is nice. So eventually, far down the line, unfortunately, his sister, which was a really, really close friend of mine, passed away.
Oh no.
So it wasn't until that time that I even ever reached out to Jazz. So me and Jazz started talking, and he was like one of his sister's requests that she ever wanted was us to make a record together.
Oh,
So
crazy. Oh
yeah,
man.
so in the midst of getting to know Jazz and like just being a fan of Jazz forever, and then actually now being able to work with Jazz as we got to know each other, just like you and myself,
Yeah.
re get to know each other. It was like that. It was like
Oh
YouTube
man.
at that time were like highly influential for that because usually I wouldn't even really be tapped in. I just stay in my own world and not really like really be indulging too much in like I guess reaching out to people as I should or like enough
Yeah.
or whatever. But I got really excited about it because you two were like people that was like, damn, elements of life. So yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, and so yeah, thank you too. I'm honored to be a part of that project too, man. And that was really cool, man. I found that super important because I thought that was the beginning of the black hockey concept.
Yeah.
And so just I love how you ran with that. And so can you talk to me just about how that came about and you run with it well. And so, what do you want to share with us about that experience? Because I love it. I love the whole black hockey thing.
Appreciate that. So
Yeah.
basically how it started was that I had a pack of hockey cards from 1993, a whole ass pack, and
Yeah.
like they weren't even opened or anything, and then I just had them in the stash for ages, and then I was like, you know what? One day I just opened them up, and then I kept just going, opening up more, and as I went through the pack, I realized when I got to the end that there wasn't a single black person in the whole pack, so I was like
Oh, okay.
it led my research to just like start researching and figuring out answers, just like questioning shit. So
Yeah.
as I did that, I just became really, really interested in it because prior to that, like I think one of my great grandpas like was from like Buffalo, New York or something like that.
Okay.
And he was really into hockey. Him and my grandma was really into hockey. And like they had a whole bunch of hockey cards in the basement when like they passed away or whatever. And
Okay.
I had got the hockey cards. I remember sneaking up in the basement, just like digging through the cards when I was a kid too. But like no relation to nothing else except for just like this shit is interesting.
Yeah.
And then yeah, when I realized there was no black people in the deck, I was like, man, what's up with this? And then researching, I secondly discovered that black people actually invented hockey, and then that shit just threw me
Oh,
for
I
a
had no
loop.
clue, man.
Yeah, so they invented hockey in the year 1815 in Nova
Wow.
Scotia. Yeah. It was just like black settlers, and they started playing. All they had sticks and they had ice, so they was just like, yo, let's figure out some shit.
Nice. That is
Yeah,
wild.
like yeah, and we would never know that, and it just made me realize, like, damn, there's a lot of things that are hid from us and just kind of blatantly like rinsed out. And I've realized hockey was one of those, basically, highly saying for like the NHL that they don't really talk about that in the history, and they
The
always want to
origin,
make the
yeah.
history. Yeah, they always want to make the history look one sided,
I
and
see.
there's more behind that. And yeah, I just
Man.
felt like my mission was to educate people on that. Not so much
Yep.
educate, but just to like bring awareness,
Yeah. Make normalize it, right?
normalize it. And the more I became interested in it, the more I actually became like a super fan of it.
Yeah.
And that resulted in like, I think I met someone at a show one time that was like a hockey instructor, like a previous college level hockey player. So
Okay.
he like was a fan of my music and the record. So we just kind of met off the whim of that, and we started. He was like, "Yeah, I'll train you," and I was like, "What, bro? Train me?" So like, yeah, we started training. We was just out there, and he
Oh,
really like kind of led the way for me doing that, and started doing some workshops, some clinics, and that's when all of that we started going to parks when people first started coming back outside, or
yeah.
they were barely coming back outside. So we were doing park activations.
Wow.
Yeah, and it just got big. We had a little league going, and yeah.
Yo, that was awesome, and I love how you ran with it. And I would love to own a Shamon Cassette hockey jersey one day because I think it makes sense.
Oh
So
man.
yeah, I hope that makes the merch one day.
Oh
That would
yeah.
be
Oh
dope.
man, the merches. Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah.
That's coming with the record. Yeah, there will be some jerseys for sale.
Whew. Well, hey man, so that's why I chose to surface that album. I thought that was kind of I don't know if that was the beginning of it, but I
Yeah, that
really
was
just
definitely the beginning. That was the absolute beginning.
nailed it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's why I was like, man, and that's how I just continue to watch your style manifest into amazing things. And so I had to bring that up and ask you. So thanks for verifying.
Oh, no worries.
All right. And so since I got the other jazz wrong, I want to at least highlight your work with Jazz Infinite because he's an amazing producer too. And
Yeah,
your single Yes with a Yen sign is oh man, I love that song, man. That's one
nah,
of my favorite tracks. So where
appreciate
is
that.
Jazz Infinite from LA then?
No, you had it right. I just forgot to add that Jazz is from Boston. He's like planted in Boston.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. All right.
yeah. No,
Oh
I
man,
was like, he has roots in Japan and everything. Like, yeah, he's half Japanese and all.
he is.
Yeah,
Oh man, that
yeah. That's
okay.
what
So I
I'm
did have it
saying.
right. I thought there's Jazz and then the Jazz Infinite. So okay, I got it right.
Nah, nah, nah. Yeah, it's Jazz Infinite. Yeah,
Okay, all right. He's dope, man. I love the work you do with him too. And yes,
appreciate
Yen
that.
sign is amazing. Hey, what was the video where you guys were dressed up like superheroes?
Oh, that was the Cayman Riders. That was the Yes with a Yen sign joint.
Dude, that was freaking awesome, man. I
It
love
was,
that video,
my
man.
wife like directed and put that thing together, bro. Like, I
Dude,
just, I just
that
woke up
was
one
fun.
day and was like, "Yo, I want to be a Cayman rider." She was like, "Oh, word, okay, let's do it." And yeah, so like I basically had the concept, and she basically did the costumes and put all that together
Oh,
help
sick.
hash out the scenes. We both sat together and mood
Yeah.
boarded everything and put it all together. She helped orchestrate the whole mission, and yeah,
Yeah. And then, yeah, so y'all got to check that video out, man. That
yeah.
was a
You
great
know what?
video.
You know what's another uh funny factoid that nobody knows also.
Let's hear it.
So the movie The Mask. You know the villain in that joint. Um, he He produced the stunt double sections for it. Yeah.
Oh, for the
Yeah.
Yes for the Inside video?
Yeah. So we had
Holy cow.
actual professional stunt people
Ah,
involved,
that's
which are really good friends of ours. Yeah. So that was dope. So they were like doing jumps off cliffs and like actually landing on mats and shit.
dude. Okay, I was wondering how all that stuff was. Oh, that is crazy.
Yeah, then on top of that, I actually, I'm just gonna say it because I don't know if anyone realized it, but I actually had a stunt double.
I did not because I saw you jumping around too and
Yeah, no,
had no clue, man.
I did some jumps, but I actually had a stunt double. Yeah,
Behind the scenes, man.
yeah, he was dressed up exactly like me.
How long did that video take to make?
Dude, that video took probably I say 4 hours.
Yeah, that was a great
Yeah.
video, man. That was probably out in the mountains of LA or something.
Yeah, it was. It was. And it was like the way my wife put it together, it was so well laid out that it was just a smooth thing. Like everything went 100% smooth. Yeah.
Yeah, the colors that you chose for the costumes, the different characters and the people that played them. I thought it
Yeah.
made for the perfect recipe, man.
Yeah, and like it was cool because that was just like, that was as simple as like all my close friends going, I was like, yo, you ever been to this place before? And they were like, nah. And I was like, check this place out. We should go here and like I want y'all to wear these costumes and we'll just fuck around for the evening. It's like so that's what we did, and then like it just worked out.
Man, I love it, man. Always doing new things. And like I said, man, one of the most creative guys I've ever known. So now I'm going to ask you about the Wanderlust album, man, that you did with Salva, man. So you got this album, you put up 7 days, and then you yanked it, and then everybody wants it. So do I. I haven't heard it, man. What's the story
Bro,
behind that?
that shit, it's just it's funny, man. Like it's hella funny because you know what? Even we sent that shit to Fab Five Freddy. Even Fab Five Freddy has that shit.
Oh,
And like the
gotta hear
thing
it,
was,
man.
I mean, because the thing was, he has a custom made. I customized the Walkman and put it on the cassette already and like sent it to him. He might be one of the only few that has it on cassette even because at
Awesome.
first it was meant to go on cassette. And then we had all this, so the way it went down, we started when we made the record, we started getting all this interest from these labels. So we kind of like got gassed up for a second. So we was
Yeah.
sending packages, and then one of the packages to one of the big labels that we sent it to, we were waiting because they had hit us up and they had followed up like 2 times going like, where's the record, where's the
Yeah.
record, and the record was already showing and tracking that it was delivered. So like this whole time we never got correspondence back because the package never made it.
Oh,
And then
sheesh, man.
like 2.5 years later, the package showed back up at the studio. So like now there's this like mad packaged up, stamped up package of like this customized Walkman with who knows what the hell else I put in there. and we're just like never gonna open it and like probably try to sell it like the Wu-Tang album. Just like,
Ah,
you know
that's
what I
right.
mean? Like this shit traveled around the world and like, but so the reason why basically we took it down was just for shits and giggles. It was like, oh,
Yeah,
everybody,
it
we
made
was
some
like,
noise, man.
yeah, we were like, everybody likes this, but like they taking it lightly, so like we're gonna take it away.
Yeah,
That's
I was like,
like
I
right.
had
And
no
then
clue.
like when we took it away, we intentionally started playing some of those tracks with the band.
Yeah.
So for the last couple years, we've been rinsing the shit out of those tracks live with the band. So it's like even more
Ah,
people are going, we want this on Spotify. Where can we get this? So it's like a really high demand for this record now. And it's been years after we put it up for 7 days,
yeah.
took it away.
And I feel like out of anybody, I've heard everything from what you've done since you were a kid till now. So that I'm like, man, I feel robbed that I haven't heard this album, man. I'm
This
like,
album is like one of my, I'd say it's one of my best pieces of work because
yeah.
we basically, for a whole summer, just ate mushrooms like Pac-Man, just like mushroom diet. We were on a mushroom diet for like a month or no, like through the summer. And
Dude,
like,
that's funny you mentioned that, man.
yeah, we were just in the studio. And again, it was kind of like we had friends coming through here and there because Saba was working with a few other acts at the time too. So I'd be coming in and out with studio blocks and passing through with others. And sometimes we
Yeah.
sit in and work on stuff. And yeah, it was, yeah, it's wild.
Dude, man, so it's funny you mentioned that you created such a masterpiece while you were shrooming. I interviewed my buddy MC Wicks, who
Yeah.
had mentioned his last album. He said he was shroomed out, and he created an amazing album too. I
Right.
was like, man, is that the
Bro.
recipe?
Bro, I think that's the recipe because for that album, all I remember is everything was blurry all the time.
Oh man, because
It
he
was
created some
like,
man.
yeah,
Ah,
it was happy times. And like another thing that excited me was the fact that Sawa's studio literally looked like a spaceship because
oh, that added to it.
there was synthesizers and synthesizer plugs everywhere, floor to ceiling, left to right.
Wow.
And yeah, it was insane. So it was a lot of electricity and a lot of electric shit going on
Yeah,
also with those sessions because we're dealing with frequencies and actually like bulbs and tubes on synthesizers. So we
amazing.
were like really like frying in that thing like
Wow. Yeah. So hey, at some point, hopefully, I'll get to hear it one day.
it's
But
coming
I had to
up.
ask you about it.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like we have the dates in the diary. Nasty is the first like single off of it,
Okay,
and we got a rollout plan. So
I
things
love
are
it.
going forward. We're just doing it independently,
Yep.
as I love to do. And yeah,
Hey, that's dope. I just thought it would be funny to ask you because all the drama that it caused and the desire
dude, it
for
is
people here.
mad drama with that record. It's hilarious. And then check this out. Check this out. So we scored a film. We scored a film last year. And with that film score, I wound up releasing a short run of the film score. So
Sick.
with that as a bonus track, I stuck Wonderlust on the original recording of Wonderlust and
Well,
didn't
well
tell nobody.
done.
Didn't tell nobody. So the people that bought the score got Wonderlust.
Oh, very cool, man.
Yeah.
What was the name of the film?
Dude, the film was called, I can't even remember the name. It was a French
Very,
film. Yeah, it was a
very
French
cool
film.
though, man. I love it. That must have been fun scoring a film, man.
Dude, it was a very fun experience in life. Like literally, like the way it all went down and just having all the gear set up in the studio, just
Yeah.
daisy chain and just going into the zone with it. And cause I did it and I actually edited and did the mapping and shit on it, and I
Yep,
wound
yep.
up getting the clearance to do it as a 3D film.
Cool.
So I did it as a 3D film, and they showed it at these festivals and stuff. And they even gave everyone 3D glasses to watch the film. So that was dope. I'm gonna I'll come back to you and let you know what the name of that film was.
Yeah,
But
I'd love to
it
watch
was
it,
sick.
man.
It was like a French joint, and yeah, it was pretty insane.
I love it, man. Well, with that, hey, I wanted to congratulate you on the single that you dropped a few weeks ago, Cypher Complete, from your forthcoming Hockey is Everything, Everyone album, produced by Al Lover. And you got, of course, assistance with the vocals, courtesy of Spoke Mathambo.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, hey, man, when is the hard project dropping, man?
So the whole project is dropping in about 2 weeks, actually.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so the whole project's dropping in like 2 weeks. We also got the tapes already for
Right.
that.
Yep, I'm waiting for
So
mine. I can't
yeah,
wait. Yeah.
so that buzz is going on. We're doing a show. We're doing our first performance with that project on
Okay.
November 29th with this crew from Atlanta, which is our homies called Revival Season.
Very cool.
Yeah, so pretty excited for that.
Yeah, I can't wait. I enjoyed Cypher Complete, and then Woo Woo was another
Yeah,
hot single.
yeah, good looks.
Oh, fire, bro.
The bro, you know the joy for me in that is that like that's going back for the performance element. That's going back to high school because it's
I got
like
a feel of that those
yeah,
songs. Yeah,
to perform that album, it's gonna be the SP, some effects pedals, and the DJ, and me and
yeah,
the mic. Yeah, it won't be with the band, so it's just like a whole different sonic sound experience because you're gonna be able to hear like the syrupy sounds and like those really like low rider, old school, like oldies samples and stuff that we got on
yeah.
that record.
Well, hey, I can't wait, man. Very highly anticipated on my radar. So, Supergirl. So, congratulations on the upcoming release.
Thanks,
And
brother. I have this I have this thing with just like
yeah,
not telling nobody and just releasing shit.
you are very good at that, man. I will tell you that much, man.
Yeah.
Because yeah, and it's very hard to go through who you've worked with because you've worked with so many amazing people in the music industry, man. And again, man, just like I mentioned, man, I hold you high regard, and I've always been a fan
Thanks,
of your
bro.
work and a role model to me as I've tried to develop myself as an MC.
Oh,
So,
high due
man,
respect, bro. Like you are doing it, bro. I'm
yeah,
proud, bro. I'm always proud. Like I'm always like, damn, did he really like shit? Like how?
yeah,
So it's like, yo,
I'm a product of you, man, for sure. Like
yeah,
I said,
man.
man.
I hold that close to me, bro. It's just like
Yeah,
that's why we are the way we are. Cause
yeah.
like the sincereness of that, you know?
Yeah, and I'm so glad that we've got to work together too. I featured on the Blades of Steel. We did
Yeah.
Tokyo Time Machine together.
Yeah.
Man, we did some awesome shit, man, and we
We
got more
did,
coming.
bro. The best is yet to come. I'm like, yo,
Yeah,
it is on.
yeah, Tokyo Time Machine, freaking folks love that, and the sound that we brought to that with Rem Shot was
Yeah.
unbelievable, man.
Unbelievable.
So yeah, hey, so with that, hey man, dope, dude. So it's apparent everybody that's checking this session out, man, he's got a lot of music, and you got to dig, man. He's got an extensive catalog that is just amazing.
It's
But
out
with that,
there.
hey man, I want to also just shout out. I love how you're big into performing with bands, and so you gotta tell me about the Zamboni sound system, man.
Okay.
Let them know.
So basically, so just going back just a real quick blip. Um being raised, my uncle was the one that got me into rapping. Like I wanted to do rapping after the B-boy fell. And he was already doing like stuff with bands. Like he was doing stuff with rap rock bands, and
Okay.
he signed with some punk bands, some labels, some punk labels and stuff like that. And I already knew that's how I wanted to present my music, but forming a band is not as easy as it sounds. Like
Oh,
it's
I'm sure.
You know what I mean? It is not an easy thing to do. And it just so happened that an opportunity fell in my lap. I had some friends in this other pretty successful punk band that
Okay.
were like, yeah, we're doing our first show past the post pandemic, and we want you to perform. And I was like, this doesn't really make sense because this is like a mad like punk show. And I was like, you
Uh-huh.
want me to come rap just like to my weird ass like lo-fi beats? I was like, nah, like, but the thing is, I didn't even question it because that was when I was first back, like, actually living in LA, like, first back
Okay.
in the US, living in LA, refiguring out situations. I hadn't played any shows at all in the US because I've been playing all the shows overseas, like,
Yeah.
always. So this would have been my first show in the US as well. And how it went was they basically was like, yeah, here's the date, which was 2 months out. So from that point on, I didn't mention anything to them. I didn't ask any questions. I just basically was like, how much time like of a set do I need to put together? So they
Yep.
told me the set length, and that's when I just dialed some homies who dialed some homies, and then before you know it, we had this band, and I was like, so this is what we gonna do. We're gonna learn
Oh,
this album right here, and we just gonna like wreck this shit in like
I
two
love
months.
it.
2 months to practice, and then we got this big ass show. So basically, right. So we had 2 months to learn all this music, practice all this shit,
Yeah.
and then like play this big ass show. And
Uh,
that's what we did, and it was a big ass success. And like everyone was going like, damn, how long y'all been playing together? And it was like, bro, we just started. And it was
two
like,
months. Yeah.
it was like, yo, this is our first show. And it was like, shut the fuck up. So like, fools was wilding, and we wound up getting booked like for a lot of shit off that show.
I
So
know.
our next fucking
Actors,
whole
man.
year, yeah, our next whole year was just like full of shows. There was like times where we were doing like 3 and 4 shows a fucking week. Like we literally played, and we played 90% of the places there are to play, like as far as like band spots and like all these little spots in LA, DIY
Yeah.
spots, to the point where we had to start starting our own, throwing our own, and just kind of doing it that way.
I love it, man. Yeah, I love performing with the band, dude. There's no other. It's a different feeling, man. Just
Bro,
everybody's
I
interactive.
never knew that. It was like the energy in that, and it was like at the same
Different.
time, my antennas are channeling with this hockey shit. And then by that time, I actually started going to Kings games, and I was seeing shit that you don't see on TV, and I was like, yo, they actually got shit going on in here that you don't see on TV. So from that, I was like, yo, this shit is actually punk rock as fuck. And I was like, yo, hockey is fucking punk. It's like not that many
Ah,
people know
I
about
love
it.
it, man.
It's hard as fuck, and like I'm obsessed. So that's when that shit kicked.
Hey, that's super cool, man. And I love and you, man, just your performance game. You do it solo, you do it with the band, you even host the coolest shows, the Creature Carnival. I'm going to the next one, man.
You gotta go
Shit.
to the next Creature
I know.
Carnival.
I gotta
That
get to
shit,
LA, man.
bro,
Jesus.
hockey is for everyone, bro.
I love it, man. Hey, with that, man, have you ever dabbled in musical production at all, or no? Just strictly singing?
I do. I do,
Okay.
actually. But it's like another one of those things where like I don't tell nobody.
Ah,
So
damn.
like I
Have I heard
basically
your
done.
production on tracks
You
then?
probably not. I've done some stuff,
Okay.
some remixes and stuff like that on some things, some of the releases on my label,
Yeah.
and I have not released any of the stuff that I produced yet.
All
Yeah,
right.
but it's just been like in the stash.
Okay. All right, man. All right. I got to hear him at some point. But hey, super
Yeah.
dope. It's been fun talking to you about your musical journey, man. Man, I love the insight. But man, what do y'all do for fun when you're not making music?
Shit. Pet the animals, lay with the animals.
I
We
love it. And yeah, you got the hairless cats, right?
Yeah, got the
Dude,
hairless
I love them,
cats.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got 3 hairless cats. We got 3 cool ass bunnies and a turtle.
Oh, super cool, man. I went to like this hairless cat cafe in Korea and just fell in love with them, man. It's so
I
cool.
love that, bro. I will
Yeah,
be all up in that. Yeah,
yeah. Hopefully,
yeah,
yeah, you got to come out this way, man, and
bro.
hopefully, I think
Seriously.
after this assignment, I'm supposed to be headed back, hopefully overseas. But man,
Okay.
you got to make your way out there and come see me, man.
I know I do, man. Especially with the capacity of this next record we doing.
Oh,
It's going to require that, a lot of
I
that.
think so, man. I think
Yeah.
that's going vinyl, and yeah, man, I'm always ready, man. So dope. Hey, well, with that, man. Hey, so I know what you're working on, and we're waiting for the next project to drop in 2 weeks. But
Yeah.
before we close this session out, man, where's the best place to find your music at?
The best place to find my music at is ShamonCassette.com,
That's it.
Spotify,
Hmm.
and Bandcamp. Those are the best places.
Well, I love it, man. Hey, do you want to shout anybody out before we close this session out?
Yeah. I want to shout out Naw Dog. Yeah, so Nah Dog is the record that's coming out with my wife, me and my wife, and
Are you
Spooky.
kidding me?
I swear
Dope.
to you, we got this record, like we got a joint on it with the Far Side on it. We Money
Oh
and Fat
man,
Lip, we got a joint with Byron the Aquarius, like playing keys and like Computer J's on that. And then
it's
it's
done
got
already.
it's been done. We just had the meeting the other day, just putting together like we just got through the cover art. Like Spooky did the cover art for it, and
Unbelievable,
yeah,
man.
we're gonna start that rollout pretty soon with those
Okay.
records, and those are different.
Oh,
Yeah, those are like
great.
they're very like I'd say like as raw and wild as they are, they're very like I'd say like intelligently like executed.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd
Hey,
be like in the realm of some D light kind of shit, but like with more of an edge.
well, I can't wait, man. Hey, is your wife? Does she sing, rap, or produce, or
She
what? Do you?
raps, she raps, she does spoken word like poetry stuff. She does some singing. She does some production seat stuff.
Amazing.
And lots of art stuff as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's super dope, man. Well, I can't wait to meet the family, and you got to meet your niece over here
Bro,
too,
seriously,
and the
like I
fam.
can't wait for that. I can't wait for that. Like, come on.
Yeah,
The
she got to
foundation.
see her uncle, man. Yeah.
Seriously, seriously.
Yeah. So, hey, man, again, hey, thank you so much, man. I've said it through the interview. You were very influential in creating Memphis Reigns and very key, like I said, just throughout my whole journey, man. And I appreciate the friendship. And we just got lifelong memories, man, that I
That's
hold very
it. And
special in my
lifelong
heart.
to go. I
That's it, man.
appreciate you,
And
bro. That
you
like
continue to be a role model to me and open doors. And just like I said, man, I love you to death, man. And I appreciate you taking time to share your story, man. Thank you.
I love you to death, bro, and ditto, bro. Seriously, I appreciate you so much, bro. Like infinitely.
All
And
right, brother.
looking forward to all the magic underway.